I've seen a flying saucer.
You've seen one?
Yes, definitely.
Unidentified aerial phenomena.
To cover up our mistakes.
I've met people who swear they've seen Bigfoot.
Join us for a journey into the obscure.
You are now listening to The Wow Pod.
There was a lot of alien stuff that came out this year.
Yeah, it's we had I don't know if it's the pandemic that made people focus more on getting off the planet. Or if it's
on escape.
or if it's if it's just a natural progression of our knowledge. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't tell you.
Either way, good stuff.
Yeah, it there was, and it could have just been maybe some other voices got pushed to the front, and they've been talking about this forever.
Yeah, perhaps it's something, it's that simple. It's that, this is...
I don't know. There has been a lot of just overall chatter about visitors, and that's exciting, quite exciting. But I think we'll go the news into the middle. Let's just go ahead and
get started.
Get into some alien stuff.
Okay, so of course we've had the monoliths. That's most recently.
I can't tell you.
And you would think that these, mysterious monoliths would bring us closer to understanding alien life, or detecting it at least. But apparently that has had nothing to do with it. Now,
yeah, we haven't had, but there, I think in just the last week, another WOW signal was discovered.
Yes. So it started out the beginning of the year. We had these organic molecules turning up around the solar system. Now, these organic molecules are floating in space in a vacuum where there should be no life.
Tardigrades.
Tardigrades, but not just tardigrades, but outside of the fact that we've known that there's been water in outer space for a long, long time, the collection of this is finding that within that water there's these organic molecules that, really we don't know enough about to rule out that they couldn't be supporting life somewhere else.
Isn't the water frozen, though?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Some of it is in its deductive phases. So the atoms have yet to...
Let's start throwing big words around.
to combine. But
for the listeners, Betsy, what is a deductive phase of water in outer space?
It's H2O. So the atoms have yet to solidify or come together into water molecules, so not necessarily frozen.
So it's hydrogen to oxygen that hasn't made water yet?
Yeah. So there is, in space, there's been found this organic molecule. And then there were those radio signals, like you mentioned, the WOW signals. Now, in September, there was another breakthrough where Venus actually moved to the top of the list versus Mars. Now we know that there's
to the top of the list for us to go hang
for
out
possible life. And that's because what they found is these molecules that have phosphine in them, or phosphine. And phosphine is made from one phosphorus atom and 3 hydrogen atoms. And it's mostly associated with non-oxygen breathing bacteria, as well as some human activities. So it could support life. So it's produced naturally by gas giants, but there's got to be some sort of life breathing it into the planet's clouds.
Okay, so
It's kind of like our carbon
phosphine
dioxide.
is made by organisms.
Uh-huh.
And so far, we don't know of any other.
Well, non-oxygen breathing bacteria create phosphine, and humans create phosphine.
Where do we create phosphine?
Well, it's found in our atmosphere. It's created through our activities, breathing in, breathing out.
So it's created along with CO2.
Mm-hmm.
Phosphine comes out as well.
Yep. So there could be some sort of life that's exhaling it into the planet's clouds, because Venus has super cloudy atmosphere. You can almost not see the surface of Venus.
And it's acidic, and it destroyed the Russian probe that they shot up there.
Yeah. Can you imagine the life that has evolved to
Let's
live?
not go find it.
Yeah, like what? Is that where the Greys are?
I don't think they're tough enough.
Slick skin.
That's
oh,
the
maybe
mantis.
the melting monster.
Oh, the melty guy? Yeah.
He could live there.
Yeah, it's like page 54. He looks like the blob. Yeah. Let's not go. I say, with this discovery, it's time to go radio silent.
No noise.
Yeah, we just don't.
So they've now decided that we need to focus more energy on understanding Venus's surface to solve this chemical conundrum, because something's making this phosphine.
Can we? I mean, are we going to build them a road to come back on?
We could.
Are we going to?
Like
it's not the year.
A zip line.
Yeah. It's no, just no.
So another thing that happened is they solved the old decades old alien hunting riddle known as the Drake equation. So June 15th, the Astrophysical Journal posted that the answer is 36. Now,
that's that. You know what that reminds me of is the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yes, exactly. It is exactly that.
Geez.
So this riddle is named after the astronomer Frank Duke.
When are the
Frank
dolphins
Drake.
leaving?
He debuted the equation in 1961. The puzzle attempts to guess the likely number of alien civilizations in our galaxy based on the variables like the average rate of star formation, the percentage of stars that form planets. And even though most of these variables were still unknown when they started to I think they were just bored in June. They were like, all right, middle of a pandemic, let's solve the Drake equation. So 1961, he puts this together, and now we have the ability to put it into supercomputers, and the answer is 36. There are precisely 36 planets in the Milky Way that could host intelligent life similar to that on Earth.
In the Milky Way, though.
36.
God dang it. The dolphins are going to leave. There's going to be a big construction ship that comes along.
So...
And only one dude in a bathrobe is going to make it out.
So assuming that there's an even distribution of these civilizations throughout the galaxy, the closest one is 17,000 light years away from Earth. That's a number I can't even wrap my brain around.
Well, yeah, that's how 17,000 years of traveling light.
Yeah. We weren't... the Earth wasn't even anything.
Yeah.
If they sent a signal, they sent it to nothing.
I mean, just to our sun, doesn't it take like 11 days or something for the light to travel?
So, another thing is they did a study through the Royal Astronomical Society,
Mm-hmm.
and they put together this huge team of astronomers and tried to calculate the number of alien star systems that have a direct line of sight to the Earth. And their calculations, like all these brains, can you imagine being in that room? Like, you could hear their brain waves, I'm sure. You could, like, test them on an EMF or something. They calculated that approximately 1,000 star systems could feasibly see our planet as it passes through their location in the Earth's sun. So during a time when it's
just like how
illuminated.
we look for either when we look out into the cosmos, how we look for a dimming or blinking of a sun to see if there's a planet, or a wobble.
Same.
That they may be. See, I think it's time to build that wall, but
bigger,
further out.
A floating wall.
A long way out. Like, I'm saying between us and Mars, maybe. Yeah, go further. Mars might become valuable one day. Let's lock out Uranus and call it
Make
good.
it dark.
Yes.
So the next thing that was studied this year are they call them FRBs, but they're fast radio bursts. They're a millisecond long, and they're pulses of radio light that blast through space thousands of times a day. Mm-hmm. So initially they were thinking... Could those
be from pulsars?
Initially they were thinking that it could be, from anything from pulsars to aliens. Maybe pulsing the jets on their hyperspeed spacecraft or something like that. But they actually traced an FRB to a known source in the Milky Way for the first time ever. Uh-huh. Now, it's a millisecond long pulse.
Okay.
You got to be dead on with your mapping skills to catch it.
Don't blink.
Don't breathe.
Guys, the guy who's watching is all red-eyed, got tape holding his lids open.
So it turns out that these are actually created by fast-spinning, highly magnetized corpse of stars.
Yeah.
So stars that have died but are magnetized.
Yes.
Spinning fast are creating these millisecond bursts.
Yeah, they're well, it's the same as a pulsar. It's yeah.
Yeah. So it's not aliens, them FRBs.
Unless
the
aliens hang out on the magnetized worlds. Maybe they use magnets for the fuel on their jet thrusters and
yeah.
Oh man.
Interesting.
I just say, given what's been going on, let's not tempt fate. Let's not
start lobbing people off the planet.
Let's not shoot anything into space.
No.
Give it.
I agree.
Give it a few
it's
more
been
days.
A bad enough year. Just let it go.
Oh, this has been a god awful year. James says there have been radio signals coming from Proxima Centauri, only 4.2 light years away.
Yeah, we'll get to that because there's another one from another system that they actually discovered this year.
Yeah.
Now, it's also been discovered that white dwarfs may be alien strongholds.
Okay, go on.
So,
like they maybe build a Dyson sphere around it, or they don't live on it.
About 4 billion years from now, give or take a billion, the Earth's sun is expected to swell into a red giant.
Yeah, well, not even a red giant, just a red.
And
more of a red dead, because it's not big enough to become a red giant, even though it is going to consume the Earth. It doesn't contain the mass to become what's called a red giant. It's going to become like a red average. Read less than average, actually, which we're lucky because of its
It's okay. 4
less
billion
than
from now.
average
4 billion
size.
years from now, I'm fine with whatever happens.
I think it's 50 million years from now. 50 million is when it consumes the Earth, is the estimate. I have done the math, Betsy, and my crayon ran out. So what I did is I watched a show on it.
So, but after that, they collapse into themselves, into these smoldering white dwarfs, they call them.
Ours shouldn't. Ours doesn't reach big enough to
actually
meet the gravitational needs to collapse into that. Now, they think it's essentially diamond, but it still contains heat and produces heat.
A paper published earlier this year suggests other alien civilizations are already harnessing the dim light of the dead stars and using it. So they may be the stronghold for alien life. So white dwarfs have largely been ignored in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, as a dead star is unlikely to host civilization on it, thriving civilization. But the white dwarfs do sometimes have planets in their orbit, and a highly advanced civilization might be able to make their tiny sun work for them.
That, and I imagine white dwarfs are probably pretty hard to see. Just like brown dwarfs are. I mean, which is probably what our sun will become, is a brown dwarf. And then the red giants are hard to see.
Yeah. So
just because
they may have in their orbit or orbiting with them or around them smaller planets that these alien life forms have. And when we say alien, it's just because they're going to be different than us. I mean, we have evolved with our environment.
I've seen Star Trek. All aliens are bipedal with two
They're
arms.
all the same.
Generally 2 eyes. It's just a mathematical. We're the perfect specimen. So all aliens are built on our design.
So another underrated target in the search for alien life has kind of taken another group of scientists, and it was published in the Nature Astronomy that perhaps we're looking at this all wrong. We're looking at this through what we know, but we're constantly looking for planets that support life in the way we understand life is supported. But what if aliens don't breathe oxygen?
Yeah.
So we try to find these planets that have the same ability to...
Well, it seems like most of the time it seems like they look for not an environment that we would live in, but they look for precursors to some metamorphic calorie consumption.
Mm-hmm. So, for instance, Jupiter's atmosphere is 90%.
Did you just hear me come up with all that wordage?
I did.
Probably means not a thing, and I just made it up off the top of my head.
So, hydrogen and helium are far more common elements in our universe. Jupiter's atmosphere, for instance, is 90% hydrogen, for example.
Well,
so what if they've evolved to breathe that? And we see it as a non-habitable
that'd be insane because
planet.
The what it is it's how many it's the size of the atom. Hydrogen is 1 and helium is 2, and then it's other atoms after that. I don't have my periodic table
in front of you.
But and that's how it works. Remember when I built that hydrogen generator?
Yes.
That's still out in the garage. I need to make that go again.
Yes, I was going to donate a vehicle to that, my Mini Cooper.
Yeah, but
because it's so tiny.
Yeah, I do want to
pull the back seat out.
I want to do that again. And I also want to build a wood gasifier vehicle.
Yeah.
Just play with different. methods.
So this type of non-oxygen breathing bacteria called E. coli, they did some.
That's the one that gives you diarrhea, right?
Uh-huh.
Kills you.
They did some
Like
fabricated atmosphere testing
dirty
inside
chickens and stuff.
inside test tubes, and one set of flasks was pure hydrogen, the other was pure helium, and they found that the bacteria were able to survive in both conditions.
So it must not.
So it opens the possibility that the
But
spectrum
how
for
long?
habitats.
Well, the question is, how long does it survive? Because does it maybe have a protective atmospheric bubble on itself that it breathes that can last for extended periods of time? Or if it doesn't,
I think the
that-
idea is that we wouldn't find it in its state that we find it here. If this bacteria or whatever landed on this other planet, that throughout time its evolution
well, yeah. What if?
would support the host.
What if bipedal, bi-eyed, bi-nostriled, bi-handed and armed creatures like us, because I've seen Star Trek, evolved from E.
Everything I know.
coli?
I'm basically a scientist. I have watched
What
Star
if?
Trek.
What if along the line in their world, what in our world evolved into the chicken,
Sure.
right? Or into the person, and also into the chicken, and in their world they evolved to become the king of the beasts. And in our world we didn't evolve that far, and that thing is what gives them diarrhea.
Oh.
So we're, somewhere else it's
We
reversed.
have
We're
the weapon.
the thing that gives them the shits.
Yeah.
Well, us, and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Smelling what I'm stepping in.
So this study was Miss Sarah Seeger. She's a planetary scientist at MIT, and what she proposes is that we need to open up the scientific research to the possibility for much broader spectrum of habitats, instead of looking for planets that have the things that we as a species use. Water. We're always looking for, well, does it have water?
Yeah.
Oxygen. Well, does it have oxygen? So
Now, oxygen, we use that for, that's heat inside our bodies, right? The oxygen is what delivers the... I would be going out on a limb if I tried breaking it down, but could they use... And would there be different atmospheric...
the evolution would have to
pressures?
go
'Cause,
completely different than ours.
Oxygen, well, not just that, but physics decide what oxygen does here. Oxygen is required for fire. Could that be different on a different planet if it had different atmospherical pressures and different maybe combinations and strings of atoms?
Yeah.
Because fire here, just fire, requires oxygen. Here. Is that true if, say, you go to a planet that has... Well, hydrogen, of course, will also light on fire. It's a little different. It doesn't have a flame, but it does pop. It's kind of, I don't know, different. But that might have been I was producing so little when I would light it on fire.
Could be.
I don't know. I'm honestly, I'm way out on a limb. It's a twiggy little number, and I should back up a little bit before I try breaking stuff down more.
Another thing we discovered this year was aliens didn't build Oumuamua.
Didn't build who?
So Oumuamua, I don't know why they named it that. It's a cigar-shaped rock that was first spotted in our solar system in October of 2017.
that like meteorite that cruised around.
So the object,
How is
Oumuamua,
that spelled?
Oumuamua, MUA, MUA. So it was traveling too fast to have originated in our solar system. And it seemed to be accelerating for no good reason. There wasn't anything pushing it. It was just accelerating. So some astronomers, particularly Harvard University, said that, it could be alien spacecraft, powered by perhaps a paper-thin sail, something that we can't distinctively, recognize from here. However, thanks to several studies that describe the object's potential natural origins, they say that Oumuamua is a hydrogen iceberg, essentially a solid chunk of hydrogen gas that strayed away from its local star and into the icy heart of a giant molecular cloud. So after leaving the core of the cloud, the berg was battered by radiation and molded into this elongated shape just by its simple trajectory, kind of like erosion.
Okay.
So it's kind of postulated that, this theory explains many of its quirks. However, there are still some scientists that say aliens are more likely an explanation.
What makes it accelerate?
That's the catching point. Because things move at a constant rate in our solar system. And this is accelerating and then decelerating and then accelerating and then decelerating. So
could that be explained by maybe it's getting caught in a gravitational dance?
Yeah. Sure.
Like, what if it has a smaller asteroid that's orbiting it? Because that causes wobbles to suns when there's a planet that orbits a sun. So maybe...
Yeah, it's an interesting thing.
Let's hope that's it, and it's not the Greys coming. Remember, Kegel Foo, folks. Kegel Foo.
So...
Clench and karate chop.
In our solar system, 4 worlds seem to have the right stuff for the possibility of life.
Okay. Let me guess. Got Earth. Shocker.
That's
Mars.
Mars is the foremost.
Earth has definite possibility. I go out on a limb on this one.
Outside of Earth.
Oh, outside of Earth. Okay. Okay, Mars, Venus.
So
I would say Europa.
Yep, Jupiter's moon Europa.
And Saturn's moon, what's its name?
Enceladus.
Yeah.
And Titan. So, like Mars, Europa holds the promise of water. Its surface is a vast expanse, which may conceal a global ocean. Enceladus, too, is an icy world that holds liquid water deep beneath its surface. And Titan, meanwhile, is the only moon in our solar system with a substantial atmosphere. And its atmosphere is rich in nitrogen. So that being an important building block of protein for all forms of life.
And what planet was that?
Titan.
It's
a moon.
And the Enceladus, what's its...
It's an icy world that holds lots of liquid beneath its surface.
That's the one that because of the gravitational force as it goes around, it actually has some thermal reaction inside because of the water kind of flexing and stretching the ice shell.
Yeah, that's probably how we know that it's got ice beneath the surfaces.
Man, I keep pulling some awesome shit out tonight.
I don't know what you watch in your spare time.
I'll tell you what. Usually it's dinosaurs, but something is coming through.
And then, as most of us know, December 1st, Tuesday, December 1st, is it Arecibo Observatories or Arecibo? It's in Puerto Rico. It collapsed.
Oh, yeah.
It was built in 1974. In 1974, it was the broadcast, it was the telescope that received the broadcast. It broadcast the now famous Arecibo message, declaring the technical prowess of humanity to any intelligent extraterrestrials that might be listening. So this telescope leaves a huge gap in SETI.
Yeah, that was I mean, the aliens are going to come to Puerto. I like Puerto Rico. Never been there.
Puerto Rico's nice.
But if they land there, that gives us a minute.
Not much. It's just off the coast of Florida.
Gives us a minute. Well, then they'll get to Florida, and then the aliens got to round up. The aliens have to round up all the Florida men, which that'll take them a couple weeks. I mean, I don't know how many aliens they're bringing, but I don't know how much nude, fecal-covered matter, crazy people they're ready to take on. I mean, the aliens.
Florida.
How stone cold are they? And what are they here for? If they're here to eat them, then they got to wash them all off first. But if they're here to enslave them, then they got to rethink their plans.
Yeah, then it's perfect because they're easy.
Florida will slow them down, and then obviously they've got to stop in Alabama trailer parks because that's their original stomping ground.
So we got a minute here.
We got a minute. We'll start seeing some news reports, and of course it'll be made political where, half
the aliens
news,
are Republicans.
Half the news will say no, the aliens aren't chasing naked fecal matter Floridians around, and the other news will say no, it's actually the opposite way around. The naked fecal matter covered Floridians are leading the aliens, and they'll argue about that for a while. Either way, I'll just hear aliens. And
what's your plan? What's your bug out plan if aliens arrive?
Aliens? Well, that's a good question.
If they make it here, your weapons are useless.
No, yeah.
Unless you intend to just use it on yourself to end the suffering.
Yeah. Do you dig a hole? Do you go underground? Do I try to get to wherever Elon Musk is real quick?
It's interesting because
ingratiate myself to him real fast, and then maybe he'll let me go on a rocket ride. I don't know where we'll go. The aliens already came here from out there where we're going to. Maybe that's like backtracking across your tracks if you run. I don't know. I don't know what my plan is.
Mm-hmm.
Do we hope the War of the Worlds and the aliens are allergic to us? Or, I don't know.
Yeah. So Jen says, wait, are you talking about my favorite subject without me? We have got to plan a show.
Yeah, we need Jennifer to come on and do some hot alien talk with us.
Yeah, and then Carrie sent us a video. Open that up if you can.
Okay.
For the viewers. That's an interesting video because I did see that. Now, I do know that since Elon has been doing all of his test flights, the number of sightings has tripled.
He's drawing them in.
So he's either drawing them in or we're seeing activity of Earth origin.
You crazy bastard.
I know. I dig him, though. I like Elon.
I like Elon, too.
Dry as a popcorn fart, but I like him. He is.
Okay, it'll take me a second to spool it up, but yeah, there's some definite craziness going on.
Yeah. So James mentioned the radio signals from Proxima Centauri.
Yeah.
That's crazy because we're getting radio signals or what they perceive to be some sort of radio communication from other galaxies as well. One of them's the Phoenix.
What's the Phoenix?
Let me find.
All right, here I'll play this, Carrie. So, to break this down, you're hearing it's someone with like the camera. You hear a road, but there is a big fireball. This thing is huge. We don't need volume right now. It's huge fireball. Is this like real, or did someone like make this on, you know?
But look at the center of it. It's not a fireball that is expanding from the center out as you would imagine would be.
Picture it looks like a cosmic semen, but there's so that's what it looks like. It has it looks wild. Is that for real? If it is, where was this at? Can anyone verify this for me?
I don't know where it was at. Progression of our knowledge. I don't know.
Seriously, that's crazy. Carrie, do you know any more about that? Can you? Where was that at?
I don't know where that one was at. I was going to look at the original post and see what they said. The issue I take with it is the way that it looks in the center is unnatural for.
It looks like there's a center ring that is on fire with kind of a cloud, but then behind it's the tail that makes it swim to the egg.
So this looks to be from Ohio, and I'm seeing that it was seen by hundreds of people.
Oh yeah, well it was over a city. Is that for real?
Yeah. That's definitely not Elon Musk stuff. That's, first of all, it's moving too slow for a natural explosion of sorts, or something that large.
Just that big, that it just appears to be moving slow.
Yeah, I mean, it could be much farther away than our vision is allowing us to understand.
Yeah, that's freaky. That's
weird
so
stuff.
They're in Ohio.
Yeah, she's from Ohio. That's
closer than Puerto Rico.
It's too close.
Now, does anyone out there know if Ohio has Ohio man that could slow them down? And if you are in Ohio, you're listening, could you do me a favor? When the aliens land, cover yourself in filth and lead them on a goose hunt. Give me some time.
Yeah.
I know it's a sacrificial effort, really.
We don't know what we're going to do with that time because we really haven't planned that far out.
My plan might just be find religion and pray. Just really. She was okay. Carrie says she was hoping that we could verify it.
Okay, we'll see what we can do.
She says it seems to be in Florida. Well, that's a good sign. If it's in Florida, Florida man will slow him down.
Florida man will get him.
Because the aliens, I mean, it'd be like wrestling a greased pig, but it'll be a shit-covered Florida man. And imagine that's hard to wrestle.
So, the other...
There's more sightings?
There's been tons this year. So, in Colorado...
You know what we haven't seen, though? We haven't seen people standing out in front of their abode talking about how the aliens took them on the news in a while.
That's true.
Do you think the news is filtering that out and it's still happening, or that's not as common?
No, I'm sure that if the abduction phenomenon is real, that it's not slowed this year, but instead the focus has been on other things.
Maybe the aliens are like, I ain't catching that shit.
Yeah, maybe.
The aliens are like,
Yeah.
Luke, you got to go grab him.
We heard about something.
Yeah, no, they ain't touching each other. What makes you think?
My guess is, like everything else that seems to be super important, instead of hearing that, we're hearing about COVID, or we're hearing about
that could be
ICU
literally
filling up, or
you could turn on the news at any given time. I don't care if it's one of those 3 ladies that go out and try local foodstuffs. It's politics. It's
politics.
COVID. That's
Well,
it.
COVID is politics. They've politicized it. They've weaponized it for political gain.
It's that's all there is now.
So another one that was heard this year. So back in February, scientists detected a radio signal coming from outer space that is repeating every 16 days. Like clockwork. So that kind of changes the game because things aren't sitting still in outer space.
I'll be honest. I hope there are aliens out there. I do. Maybe it's their quantum satellite clock that tells all the other clocks what time it is.
Could be.
I hope there's aliens out there. I don't want aliens coming here. I'm not.
They're already here.
I'm not ready for that.
I've seen the reptilian eyes on YouTube.
Yes, Joe Bieber. Oh, and what was that one? Katy Perry and the Queen. I mean,
the Queen, obviously.
And how is it fair that she's a queen lizard and a queen?
No, 100% no.
English lady.
Now, I did hear a recent rumor that she's been dethroned and nobody's talking about it.
Ooh.
Because now there's a brand new crest at the front, and they have vacated the castle.
What will they do with all those hats?
It's
going to be a fire sale on hats.
Fire sale.
It'll be on www.royalshitforsale.com.
Royal shit, literally.
The whole bunch of hats. It all matches a handbag and a ugly dress. She was kind of pretty when she was younger. It's just I shouldn't. Everyone. I mean, obviously, as you get older, you age. It has its way with you, but
nobody's getting out unscathed.
That is a good point. That is a good point. Some of us just seem to skid into home plate a little more graceful than the rest of us.
Yeah, like that Marina Abramovic. Pull up her picture.
Marina, you couldn't have figured out a name that's spellable?
Look up Abramovic. Abromovic.
Abramovic.
Marina Abramovic.
Is that it?
Just a C.
Just a C.
Scroll down.
Okay.
Black hair right there. Guess how old she is.
She looks to be in her 40s.
74.
What the hell?
Yeah, she holds the adrenochrome parties for Hollywood elites.
Oh, that's the chick we talked about.
That's her. 70.
That does the spirit cooking.
Yes, sir.
74?
Look at her. Tell me. Tell me something ain't working.
How many paper clips are holding the back of that face meat together, like behind her head? All sorts of paper clips, just pinching and pulling that shit tight.
I think she's just drinking.
But how does she pull it tight down too? Because
yeah.
Is that 74 in that picture right there? You're shitting me. Oh,
nope.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Folks at home.
She's aged.
I could try to explain to you.
Much.
Yeah, she looks younger than me. Hands down, easy.
Yeah.
Hands down.
But if you look at her work from 10 years ago.
What does she look like now?
She looks the damn same as she did 25 years ago.
Jesus. You guys, you got to look her up.
Yeah, Marina Abramovic.
Yeah.
We need to do a show on spirit cooking. It's just so
Well, we
gross.
did. She came up when we talked about
she came up with adrenochrome, but spirit cooking is its own.
I remember we talked about that people eating cafe. What was that? The
Cannibal Cafe.
Club. Cannibal Cafe or yeah.
You can see their menu. They serve.
Yeah, it was placenta spaghetti.
Placenta lasagna.
There's placenta lasagna. Delightful.
So gross.
I really love the way you.
So I think I'm going to close. I'm going to close this out tonight. Oh, did you want to?
Yeah, I wanted to.
And then I'll close this out.
Yeah, I want to talk. So, on Christmas they had in Nashville, old boy that bombed the RV, and obviously we know almost nothing about it, really. A lot of speculation. Is it because he didn't like 5G, or is it because whatever? But it's rather odd. An RV pulls up on a street in front of what's it, like an AT&T like building?
Do you know what was inside there?
Probably no. What?
The Dominion voting machines.
Huh. Anyway, so this show just took a turn. Son of a bitch.
They were. They'd been moved there 3 days before, and the body cam footage was released from the beat cops that night. And the beat cops walk by and hear this RV just blaring out the step back, move away.
They weren't called down for gunshots, because that was the initial reporting.
If they were, then they were looking for an active shooter when they were walking around with their body cams. But there was no active shooter on scene. They walked. The body cam showed them walking right past that RV.
God hell. And the guy's name is Mitchell, right?
Poor guy. He's probably just like the Unabomber. He was probably part of a CIA.
Anthony Warner. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of speculation out there, and I don't know. I don't think we'll ever find out any facts to this. And if those voting machines were in there, then there's cause to not find out. So, just people, maybe we should invite the aliens.
On the same night, there was a mysterious fire in Rochester, New York, where the other Dominion voting machines were housed. Mysterious.
You know what? Here's the deal.
Nobody talked about it, but it burned to the ground.
If any government official calls me up and says, "Hey, this controversial thing on the news, could you hang on to it for me?" No,
Absolutely not.
No, don't slip it in my pocket either. You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, but there were 3 people injured, no fatalities, except for the suicide bomber that wasn't aiming for political shit. Jesus, this show took an ugly turn. We were doing good. We were doing pretty good. And then,
truth is stranger than fiction.
Yeah, we need to look into that, because I know that, again, both sides politicize everything right now.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. I
don't know if anything happened with Dominion, but he's trying very hard to protect himself from being caught up in the crossfire, whether he was culpable or not.
Oh, the CEO.
Yeah, the CEO of Dominion. They're refusing to give the machines. He didn't show up for his hearing.
Yeah, he initiated a defamation lawsuit.
Yeah. So
I didn't know that he didn't show up, but
yeah, his Supreme Court hearing in Pennsylvania, he ditched.
I kind of think that they were talking that crap about him because that was the end. Because if he does do a defamation lawsuit, then that means that the other lawyers get to look into the stuff he says. Because
So I mean, I don't know. I
don't know. Of course, my astute legal mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to end the show with a public service announcement.
Uh-huh. So
gluten is a scary thing in our world today.
Uh-huh.
You're noticing these gluten-free, opportunities popping up on menus and all kinds of things. And in most cases...
Now, gluten is the protein of wheat.
Yes, it's the binding protein found in wheat and most flour.
Okay.
So it's in the husk of the flour, so it depends on how it's processed. And so in most people, it causes gastrointestinal discomfort.
So it makes people fart.
Yeah, so it could lead to things like rash and anemia and headaches in others. And in some extreme cases, the side effects could be much worse, like celiacs.
Yeah,
That's an extreme
that's
case.
serious stuff, and that actually, a few years ago we had it's
fatal.
Yeah, it's fatal, and it took someone that I wasn't super close with, but someone I knew.
Yeah, it's fatal. I've known 2 people who have celiacs. However, the public service announcement is that you could also succumb to full-blown murderous psychosis.
Yeah.
So that
Are
was
the Menendez brothers in jail right now? Writing down.
glute. You spell that with an E or an A. So, 37-year-old woman from Massachusetts. Gluten caused her to experience severe hallucinations, paranoia, and other lovely mental conditions that eventually led to to threatening the lives of her parents and an attempted suicide. So, PSA, the next time somebody asks for gluten-free food, don't mess around.
Yeah, hook them up. Let's go through the messages real quick and read these out. Now, Carrie, the lady who sent sent us that message,
She thinks the original poster was from Florida.
From Florida, which, man, I would not be shocked. I would, and if you're gonna land on a continent, wouldn't you land on the phallic-shaped part down on the Lower East Side? She's from New York. Carrie is, and we've chatted a few times. She's got some pretty good shows that she listens to. Turned me on to a few things.
So James mentions the late Stephen Hawking thought it would not be a good idea for us to make contact with aliens.
No, he did not. He tried talking old what's his
I
name
can
out
see
of
his
it.
caution.
I'm feeling his caution right now.
But
Right now, honestly, right now, I would have to take a Valium to unclench. I mean, to relax.
yeah, I mean, I can see his caution. I don't know if there's a tipping point where it's better to know what's out there versus being caught off guard. Now, some will tell you that, people like Valiant Thor have introduced alien
And he
politics.
He came from Venus. He was
Yeah.
Venetian.
Yeah, so
Not
introduced alien.
Venetian.
No,
Venetian.
Venetian.
Yeah.
But that our politics are driven in lots of ways by extraterrestrial life, either embedded, in positions of power and influence, or like they just know
Singing that nice song
that
makes
they're
you-
out there, and so they mind their P's and Q's. They're
makes
not
you
launching
start
space
a new
junk in.
TikTok
and-
dance, and next thing you know, it's all the craze, and then people imitate it. And
Did you hear that they asked Trump recently about alien life?
no, I did not. But,
Yeah, Fox News did.
yeah.
They ask every president. It's kind
Yeah.
of the thing, So
Oh, yeah.
tell us about aliens.
If I met the president, I'd be like, "So Area 51."
and every one of them skirt around it. They're like, slide to the left a little in just absolute typical Trump fashion. He said, "Well, I'll tell you this. I've spent a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of taxpayers' resources to create the best alien protection unit in our Space Force."
Alien protection unit or protect from unit?
Protect from. He's like, we've got the best
laser
stuff.
beams
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
whatever other things you need in space.
I would like
to
I
fight.
would like to think that having a Space Force is perfunctory to making sure that space doesn't become weaponized.
Well,
To protect space from becoming one country's, control. Having a Space Force.
wasn't there a treaty signed about that?
There is. And it has to do with the moon.
Yeah,
That you cannot colonize the moon
But
and
I
claim
saw
it as
this
one country.
documentary once where the Nazis built on the
We
dark
have a
side
base.
of the moon.
We have a base in Mars. We already know.
Yeah, well, that
We've
one
had
guy,
aliens working
Remember
with...
we talked about that
Yes.
one guy, and there's like big Tyrannosaurus Rexes. He's Nick. No.
We looked at all those pictures.
Yeah. Yeah, we went through that.
It's like cloud watching.
What was that guy's name?
I can't remember.
I've got to dig up his name. I have to drift back a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, he traveled up there with old Barry Satoro when they were in the training classes together,
Yep.
and there was the interesting people rocks. I mean, yeah. Oh, before we cut out here, what does everyone think about this whole alien stuff? And Jennifer, upon further consideration, Andrew Basiago, yes, Carrie, you're on the ball. Andrew Basiago, yeah, that's the cat's name with Project Pegasus.
Project Pegasus.
Now, Jennifer has a creepy doll friend that she offered or threatened to bring in here.
Threatened.
This doll is the doll does not have to be haunted. That thing looks like a set piece of Night of the Living Dead. It's ashy with dark eyes and pudgy doll feet. Like it would be a cute doll that somebody like said, you know, why would we want the kid to sleep anymore? Let's give him this. The thing is freaky. If it was in my room, I ain't staying in my room.
I've got 200-year-old dolls that are in my basement under lock and key.
Yeah?
Yeah, they were Cody's great-grandma's.
Yeah, I have no doll. I have a baby Yoda in this house.
A baby Yoda, a Grogu.
Yeah, Grogu.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, but yeah, thanks for joining us, everyone. Carrie, thanks for that awesome video. I'm a little freaked out now. You said Florida, makes me feel a little better because
it's a little further away.
Florida man will slow him down. He'll slow him, throw alligators
If nothing
at
else,
him.
it will be like rubbernecking. What the heck was
and if the aliens do land in Florida, get some video of that shit. When they start wrestling Florida man and you know he's doing Florida man stuff, get video of that. At least let us go out on a happy note, on a pleasurable note. But yeah, thanks for joining us. This is a quick show. We're coming in next week. We're talking to what's his name, Dr.
Mike Hansen, I believe his name is.
Yeah, we're talking to a psychologist, kind of a, you know,
rebirth.
A rebirth.
New year.
It's gonna be an all positive show. There's not gonna be any no spookiness or any of that.
Kind of a fresh breath of air for a brand new year.
You know, just a little something going on. And then we're going to follow that up with what we got lined up real quick. We've got an abductee lined up, a couple of psychics, and Bigfoot Wars. So we got those all lined up. So those will be coming in to ring in the new year.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
everyone have a safe holiday.
Yeah, have a great New Year's. Whatever your tradition is for good luck on New Year's,
do it twice.
Abundance. Do not let any of that shit slide. If it's black-eyed peas, eat them all. I
don't have one. I've got to find one. I'm going to find 10, and we're going to do all of them.
I'm going to be like that guy on The Mummy when he pulls up his necklace and he has all the different religious symbols. I'm going to have all of the superstitions. I'm going to, I don't know.
Throw salt, all of them.
All of them. My house is going to be a wreck when I'm done, but it's time to get it on. But thanks for joining us, everyone. And if you have any good stories or videos, send them to us. We'll throw them up on our next show.
You guys have a great week.
Yes, have a great week.
Bye.